All right, welcome to lesson 3.1, which is classifying rational numbers. Our objective today is that I can classify rational numbers. What is a rational number? Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as a fraction. Some numbers cannot be written as a fraction, but you'll learn about that in 8th grade. So, rational numbers. Here's some examples. 7.3. I could turn that into a fraction by putting a 1 under it. Negative 58.297. I could turn that into a fraction by putting a 1 under it. 1/3 already is a fraction. Negative 5/4. That's already a fraction. Integers are also rational numbers. I could turn an integer into a fraction by putting a 1 under it. And I can do that for all of these. Lastly, we have whole numbers. I can turn all of these whole numbers into a fraction by putting a 1 under them. Now, how do they all fit together? Rational numbers, think about it as the big category. Everything in this circle is a rational number. Notice in this circle, there's also an integer circle. All integers, all negative numbers that don't have decimals, are also rational numbers. And inside the integer circle is the whole numbers circle, because all whole numbers are also integers and rational numbers. Think about it like a Venn diagram. You've seen Venn diagrams before. It's where there's a circle and there's another circle. And let's say if there, we could say that this is food. This circle represents food. And this circle represents things that are yellow. The thing in the middle here, this is both food and yellow. For example, corn. We could put corn in there because it's both food and it is yellow. Here, you can be a whole number. Everything in this circle is a whole number, and also an integer because it's also in that circle, and also a rational number because it's also in that circle. So let's go ahead and put these numbers in. Here's our rational number examples. We have 7.3, so I'm going to put this in the rational circle. 7.3, negative 58.297, 1/3, and negative 5/4. These are all rational numbers. But these rational numbers are not integers because they're either fractions or decimals. And integers cannot have fractions or decimals. Integers. Here's our list of integers. We're going to add these. Negative 1, negative 8, negative 79, and negative 236. Notice there's no decimals here. All of these are like negative whole numbers. But they're not whole numbers because they're the opposite of whole numbers. These ones have negatives. Whole numbers are the counting numbers. Here are some whole number examples. 1, 2, 6, 9, 557. These are all whole numbers, no decimals, and they're positive. Excuse me. All right, lastly, we're going to do some practice. We're going to classify rational numbers, which means we're going to decide if these numbers here are rational, integers, or whole numbers. And we're going to use our chart up here to help us. So let's look at 75, for example. Focus again. There we go. 75 is not negative, and it doesn't have a decimal. It looks an awfully lot like a whole number. So I would say that 75 is a whole number. So the next example of negative 3. It doesn't have a decimal, but it is negative. It looks an awfully lot like an integer. So negative 3, I would say, is an integer. 3/4, this is a fraction. I see fractions in the rational number circle, so I'm going to say that 3/4 is a rational number. Lastly, 0.35, I only see decimals in the rational number circle, so I'm going to say that 0.35 is also a rational number. All right, go ahead and tackle practice and let me know if you have questions.